Hey, welcome back. So today I'm going to talk about some issues I'm having with the Interceptor 650. At the moment I'm feeling pretty frustrated and a little bit unenamoured with the bike. I'm still wearing my Royal Enfield hat, so I've not quite given up on Enfield yet, but I'm having some frustrating issues with the Interceptor just now. So some of you might have seen the short that I uploaded just last week with the what I suspected were starter issue problems, but actually turned out to be just a dodgy battery. So the battery was replaced, solved the problem, bike's back on the road, no issues at all. However, that's not been the end of my problems. So the first ride after fitting the new battery, the bike started to cut out. Now, if you've watched my video, which is titled The Good, The Bad and The Ugly of the Interceptor 650, you'll know that I had some issues with the relays early on. Not the relays themselves, but the fact that the relays were completely covered in thick white grease. That grease is there to stop corrosion, obviously, but there's just far too much of it applied, and it's so thick that it actually starts to interfere with the electrical connection in the relays. So at 500 miles or so, I cleaned that out, and I stopped having any issues. The issues I was having were the bike kind of idling erratically, stalling out on me at strange times, particularly if I blipped the throttle or didn't quite give it enough revs on the throttle as well. Now, cleaning that grease solved all those problems, and I was perfectly happy from that point on. I'm now at about 1800 miles, and the first ride after replacing that battery, the bike cut out on me after about 10 minutes of riding, trying to pull away from a set of traffic lights, and it just cut out. I figured it was a one-off, so I started the bike again. It did take a few tries to restart it, but it did start. I continued on the road. I was heading to the office at the time. I then came around the corner at about 55, 60 miles per hour. I was in fifth gear, and the bike just died for no reason at all. So I pulled over at the side of the road. The bike started perfectly, first time, no issues. I continued down the road towards my office again, crossed crossroads, and the bike cut out. So I was stranded in the middle of a crossroads with a bus coming towards me, which was kind of scary. And I then cut out a couple of more times before I finally reached the office. So as soon as I got to the office, the first thing I done was I called the dealer and had a chat with him. Now, my dealer that I bought the bike from is a little bit further away from me. Enfield Assistance won't take the bike to him if I have any issues. So Enfield Assistance will only take the bike to my closest dealer, or any dealer of my choice within 30 miles, which here in Scotland, I only have one, basically. And that's Saltire Motorcycles. Saltire are a particularly busy dealership. Now, I'm not saying they're a bad dealership by any means, but they are very, very busy. Their service department is booked until mid-August at the moment. So I phoned them, had a chat. We agreed that if I could get the bike to them via the Enfield Assistance on the same day, they would reflash the ECU for me. They felt that might be the issue. And they would do the ECU reflash on the Saturday. But beyond that, there's not much they can do until mid-August. I phoned the Enfield Assistance. They put the bike in the back of the truck. They took the bike over to Saltire Motorcycles in Edinburgh, and they reflashed the ECU on the Saturday morning. And they called me to let me know that it was done. They test rode the bike, and it's absolutely brilliant, no issues at all. So I picked the bike up on the Tuesday, which was the earliest I could get to them because they're closed Sunday and Monday. And I test rode the bike for maybe 15 minutes around the local area, and I thought, yeah, great, fantastic, it's been fixed, this is great news. I took the bike home. As I arrived home, the bike cut out. And I did at that point, I thought, okay, let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe it was a bad clutch. Maybe I had a false neutral. Maybe I just stalled it. Let's, put it in the garage and we'll wait. I say the garage, the shed. Put it in the shed and we'll wait till tomorrow. We'll go for a proper ride and we'll see if we have any issues again. So tomorrow came, which at this point was yesterday, and I took the bike out. The minute I tried to pull away from the house, the bike stalled on me. I then continued further down the road. Everything seemed okay. And I thought, again, maybe this was just a one-off. But at that point, I thought I'm going to stay local and just keep testing this and see where we get to. So further on up the road, and I'll show you the video clip here, as I overtake this car, the bike gets up to maybe 65 or something while I'm overtaking. And as I'm shifting gear, boom, just cuts out on me. At this point, the bike won't start again. It's showing that it's in neutral, and you can see in the video here I'm kind of playing about with the shifter just to make sure that it actually is in neutral, that it's not a false neutral. But it did eventually start again. So again, rather than phone Enfield Assistance, the bike is running, and as I'm close to home, I'm thinking, right, let's keep riding the bike, keep testing it. It cut out another twice, so 4 times yesterday. The bike just cut out and died on me. A couple of times on pulling away. It hasn't cut out at all yet on idle since the reflash, and twice it cut out when shifting. So once shifting up to fifth, I think it would have been, and then once shifting down into third. So where are we going to go from here? Like I say, I'm kind of frustrated. I'm not making this video to try and put anybody off of buying an Interceptor or to try and, to slight Royal Enfield in any way. It's just my personal experience, and I get that these things can happen, right? It doesn't necessarily mean the bike's a lemon or any of those things, but I want my bike back on the road, and that's the most important thing right now. So I've spoke to the dealer that I bought the bike from, Gordon down at Hollywood. Again, my problem is getting the bike to Gordon. Royal Enfield assistants won't take it to him, and I obviously, for obvious reasons, I don't want to pay to have the bike transported there myself, and I appreciate that, having Gordon pay to have the bike transported there as well is unreasonable before I've tried, as many things as I can try to get the bike back on the road. And ultimately, his costs might not be covered by a warranty, because I can go to Solitaire Motorcycles and I can have the work done there. There's no saying that his costs would then be covered for transporting the bike. So I'm doing everything I can to be reasonable before I try and get the bike back down to Gordon, who I trust would actually put the time and effort into getting this bike sorted and running nicely again. So the next thing is just to replace those relays. I mean, I cleaned the grease out at 1,300 miles ago or so. That solved the problem then. I was playing around with the relays. I was switching relay positions and kind of trying to start the bike and listen to it idle and rev. And I did actually notice there was some variety there in what speed the bike idles at. How steady it idles as well. So in one of the positions the bike seemed to be more erratic than others. In some positions it would idle around 1,000, and others it would be up at 1,300. So that, for me anyway, that might have been an indication that one of those relays is weak or dodgy potentially. All of the relays getting kind of hot. I know a relay coil can warm up under normal circumstances, but actually I'd say it feels hot, and even the pins feel hot. Now, I'm not an auto electrician, I'm not a mechanic, but from a quick Google it did suggest that if the pins in the relay feel hot, that would suggest that the relay has reached the end of its life and it should be replaced. So I'm going to bite the bullet. Little Enfield pun there for you. So if you jump on Hitchcock's website, you can see that they've got the upgraded relay specifically for the Interceptor 650. Now, there are cheaper relays on the market. There are cheaper options. Even the Bosch relays are cheaper. The problem with the Bosch ones is I've heard that there are a ton of fake ones out there. So when you're buying from eBay and Amazon, you don't know for sure that you're actually buying Bosch relays. They could just be cheap relays made to look like Bosch relays. There are a couple of other options as well, heavy duty relays that people have recommended. But I phoned Hitchcock's and I said, look, give me the lowdown. Why should I pay you at least twice as much here as the other relays on the market? And what they said to me is that they sourced these specifically for the Interceptor or the 650 Twins through an auto electrical specialist. He couldn't tell me exactly where they're manufactured, but he said in terms of the quality, significantly higher quality than OEM, and on par at the very least with the Bosch ones. And they've had absolutely zero issues from any customers after having purchased those relays. So all in, I paid about £32, I think it was, and that's to have them shipped first class, so they should be here with me tomorrow. Which is, it's twice the price that I really would pay for any other relays. But at this point, if it's £30 and the bike is running nicely again, it saves me any more issues, why not, right? That won't be covered under warranty. The warranty would only cover replacing them with OEM relays. What's funny is when I was speaking to Gordon, the dealer down at Hollywood, he had said that he himself was only replaced like one or two sets of relays on any bikes. But I think it's worth remembering that if you go on Facebook groups, Enfield Facebook groups or Interceptor Facebook groups or any of the owners groups, you'll find that pretty much every owner has probably replaced those relays themselves. And again, just asking in some of those groups, that seems to be solving the problem. Other people have experienced what I'm experiencing now, and they all seem to continue to point to the relays. Personally, I thought that just cleaning the grease out would have been enough, but clearly in this case, it's not. Well, we don't know that for sure. If these relays solve the problem, fantastic, and we know that was the issue. I'm kind of mind blown at this point, given how long this issue has been going on and how kind of well known the issue with the relays is, that Royal Enfield have not done something about it. They've not put higher quality relays in there. So that's where we're at just now. Bike's now kind of off the road. I mean, it's still running, but I don't particularly feel safe riding it around knowing that it could cut out at any minute. I would replace the relays. The great thing is I'll make a little video of replacing those with the Hitchcock's ones. I'll document all of that. So if you do have a 650 twin and you're having any sort of stalling or running issues, maybe that's worth having a look at. So next few days you'll hopefully see a video with those relays being replaced. So do me a favour, cross your fingers and toes for me. Here's hoping that it is just an issue with those relays and that replacing those relays is going to do the trick. A couple of videos in the pipeline coming up soon for anyone who's interested. I promised a video on the tech bike parts bar end mirrors. That's not happened purely because the spare time I've had has been spent messing about with the bike, and each time I've tried to get out and take the bike on a good run, I've basically had issues recently. So, but that video will be coming soon. I've also been working in the background on another video showcasing some of my favourite custom 650 twins that I found over the internet as well. If you're here for the first time, feel free to check out my other videos. I am fairly new to YouTube. I've been doing this for just a couple of months now, maybe 3 months, making these videos. I'm enjoying it. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers at this point, which is, that first big milestone that I'm really, really excited to hit. So, if you've not done so yet, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And more videos coming soon, and hopefully I can start to build something that you will enjoy. So thank you very much, have a great day, and if you're riding, ride safe. Cheers.